I had driven my daughter back to the University of Manitoba in Winnipeg and decided to drive back to BC on the American Interstate. Driving south from Winnipeg, I was almost to a little town called Grant when I saw a lightning storm on a hill ahead. From my hill, which was a little lower than the one ahead, it looked like a forest of lightning. I drove off the road up underneath an overpass to wait it out. But in the middle of the lightning, I could make out a car and someone running back and forth. I thought, I guess they're in trouble. Understatement. I've got to go and help. I got out of the truck and flipped the seat forward, grabbed my long jumper cables, and threw them on the front seat beside me. As I started up the engine, I started my prayer. Dear God, I struggle not to use your name in vain. Even though I slip now and then, I need you now. Make my body into a non-conductor. Give me the strength to keep thinking and doing what I have to do, even if the lightning turns my brains to mush. Now, my truck is entering the forest of lightning. I see that it's a lady and she's just returned to the car again. I'm driving fast and I make a U-turn in front of her car and come alongside of the front of it. I jumped out and hollered to her to open her hood. Her hair was standing straight up from the electricity in the air. I pulled the release to the hood of my truck and ran around to the front with my jumper cables. I felt my hair standing up. She hollered, "It won't run." I said again, "Open your hood." She pulled the release for the hood inside the cab. I bounced as a large bolt about a foot in diameter hit the ground about 500 feet away. I hooked my cables to my battery, red to positive and black to negative, and quickly hooked the other ends to her battery. I hollered, "Start it up." I jumped again as another bolt hit about 400 feet away. She turned the starter switch and the engine started. The thunder was roaring with hundreds of little lightning bolts landing about 10 feet apart all around us. I unhooked the cable from her battery and closed her hood. I hollered, "Go, I'll follow you." She left. Another large lightning bolt hit about 300 feet away and bounced me off the road again. I quickly unhooked my cables from my battery and closed the hood. I ran to the door with my cables, opened it, and threw them into the truck. I quickly jumped in and started up the engine, made another U-turn and followed her out of the hell. She pulled off the road near the little turnoff to the town of Grant, I guessed. I stopped beside her. We got out of our vehicles and I started shaking uncontrollably. She asked what my name was since she wanted to put it in the papers about what I did. I was in a bit of shock and couldn't remember. I just told her, "Say an Indian from the West Coast helped you." I asked what she was doing running back and forth out there. She said her baby was in the car. She was going to leave it in the car and run for help. But when she got about 10 or 15 steps away, the thought, what if lightning hits the car again and it catches fire? She ran back to take the baby. Then she thought, what if while I'm running with the baby, I'm hit by lightning, it will die of exposure? Back and forth she ran until I got there. I told her, your baby has been born twice, once out of your womb and once out of hell. God needs that child to live. It has a destiny of value to the world and His plan. Try to make better decisions next time. My brain still wasn't working right. The electrochemical process had taken a recess. After I traveled about a mile further, I pulled off the road again. My hair had finally lain down, but now I was really shaking. I got out of the truck and leaned against the fender. The thunder was still in the distance. It was just a bonus for me to be left alive after dumbly standing in a forest of lightning holding copper jumper cables. The irony of it was just sinking in. When I depend on God, He's got to come through. Obviously, in hindsight, my rescue plan had a few holes in it. All I had on my side was insanity. A year later, working in the pulp mill garage, a high-voltage electrical short flashed across in front of me and burned a groove across my forearm. After being checked out at the first aid station, there was no outlet hole in my body, on my feet or anywhere. God still had me turned into a non-conductor.